so twisted, it changes everything you thought you knew? Minister Louis Farrakhan, the man who makes people squirm just by opening his mouth, delivers a speech that challenges everything we've been told. His words, shocking. His message, earth-shattering. Farrakhan's not just ranting. What he's saying could change the way you see the world. His words are raw, real, and dangerous to the system. They're a lot more truthful than you'd like to admit. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about black leadership, the dirty truth about history, and why you can't ignore what Farrakhan is saying, no matter how controversial it sounds. But here's the thing. Farrakhan's speech isn't just about him. It's a call to all of us. It's about black people, the fight for justice, and what happens when you start speaking the truth, even if it means taking on the whole system. By the end of this video, you'll see Farrakhan's message through a whole new lens, and it won't be what you expected. Farrakhan starts with leadership because for him, it's the cornerstone of black empowerment. He doesn't just address black leaders. He challenges them in a way that makes you question everything you thought you knew about leadership in the black community. He throws down a hard question. Are you truly helping, or are you just part of the problem? And he's not just talking about a few individuals.
Are you truly helping, or are you just part of the problem? I have a theory called the 4H theory. And the 4H theory goes like this. When you choose to be around people, you choose to be around them for one of the 4 H's. You're either there to help, hurt, hinder, or hate. And if you're not there to help, then there's really no reason for you to be around. But let's just keep it moving.
He's talking about the entire structure of black leadership, especially the black preachers and scholars who occupy positions of power and influence.
Life.
Here we are, 30 to 40 million black people who have been turned upside down and inside out. 30 to 40 million black people who don't know who they are.
When the system is built on oppression and inequality, those leaders become more like cogs in the machine, doing just enough to seem like they're helping, but ultimately keeping black people tied to the very system that has oppressed it for centuries. Think about this. We've all heard promises from our leaders, from preachers to politicians, about how they're going to change the game for black people. Yet, year after year, the same struggles. Poverty, lack of education, discrimination remain. Farrakhan isn't the first to point this out, but his words hit differently. He doesn't hold back when he says that many of our so-called leaders are simply puppets of a system that benefits from black oppression. These leaders, by not challenging the system at its core, are complicit in maintaining it. Whether they realize it or not, they're reinforcing the very chains that hold the black community back. Farrakhan digs deeper into why this happens. He doesn't just criticize leaders for being ineffective. He exposes a deeper flaw in the way they are educated and trained. He argues that the very education that these leaders receive, whether it's in theology schools, universities, or political institutions, is not designed to empower black people. It's designed to ensure that these leaders remain subservient to a system that thrives on inequality. Leaders who are taught to please the system, rather than to challenge or dismantle it, are stuck managing the symptoms of oppression, not eradicating the disease.
I want to elaborate on that, basically, with what's going on today. So we just seen they had an inauguration rally in an event where they had Snoop Dogg, Nelly, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy performing. And a couple of these guys have made bold statements towards Trump. But here they are on the stage, and a lot of people are talking about they need to be canceled from our community or whatever, our culture, but I don't believe in no cancel culture. You know what I'm saying? People can do what they want to do. You know, hey, it's your life, it's your brand, it is what it is. I don't have to agree with everything that somebody does, and I don't expect everybody to agree with everything that I do. So I'm not into the cancel culture thing. You know, if I don't rock with you, I just don't rock with you. But speaking to the power of the leadership, President Trump got Snoop, Rick Ross, and these guys to perform at his event. And Snoop, out of all these guys, was the biggest person that spoke the loudest against Trump a few years back. He even made a video disrespecting Trump. But now here he is at the, you know what I'm saying, event performing for Trump. Granted, you know they got paid for it. Nobody's going to turn down the money. It doesn't make sense, especially if that's what your business is. But the psychology and all this coming with the TikTok and then coming with Rick Ross and Snoop Dogg on stage and the world knowing Snoop Dogg had a problem with Trump and now Snoop Dogg seems to be supporting Trump now, you know. What does that say to the world who's seen what happened with Snoop years ago when he disrespected Trump? That says that this guy here is now on my side. Anybody who follows him are basically gonna come follow me. Anybody who follows TikTok are basically gonna come follow me. So it feels like we're all kumbaya around Trump. Trump is the new leader for all of us here in the United States. But you specifically pandering to the lower income people of the United States to make us feel like Trump is one of us. After he won the presidential election, they not like us. You know what I'm saying? This is all about pandering to us as the community, African Americans in the lower, you know what I'm saying, communities, because that is exactly what is needed in order for these people to remain on top. As long as I got you up under me, I'm always on the top of you. And if I can mentally trick your people into being in a position under you and you're under me, then it keeps me at the top. And I can spoon feed you things that I know that you like. Not that you need it, but because you want this, I'm going to give you this. But meanwhile, I'm going to take all this away from you. I was watching a video the other day, and the lady said, when they came to Africa with Bibles, and we had the land, and then they told us to close our eyes and pray. And when we opened our eyes, they had the land, and we had the Bible. So that's very significant in what this whole thing is about. Like, as a culture, we have to really pay attention to what is leading us. What led us to this point where we're at now, where drill is a big thing in our community, and our kids are, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just like brainwashed into just really like not caring about their life or anybody else's life. And it's like a religion around here. Like it's like a religion for real. This is the leadership that led us to these things, not just in the presidential seats, in the offices, but in everything in our lifestyle, from the music, the clothing, and everything that we do. We have been led down a destructive path. So in 2025, with everything changing within our culture and around the world, how do we as African Americans take the helm and say enough is enough? We gonna govern ourselves, or hey, it is what it is. I mean, we do live in a capitalist society where we have to pay taxes and stuff like that, but as far as taking control of everything that we cultivate within this culture, within this communities, we need to be the ones being reaping the benefits off of that. Because they rape hip hop just like they rape Africa. They rape hip hop for its best resources just like it raped Africa for its best resources. Then it demolishes the rest of it so that there is no going back getting anything better than what we already got. We got the cream of the crop. Y'all can have the scraps, and it is what it is. Here, have TikTok. I have a question for you. Do you want TikTok, or do you want to be really independent? Well, if it's independence that you want, it starts with your mind frame, the way you think, and the way that you see things, the perception. Don't look at it for what they want you to look at it for. Look behind it and see what's really behind what they're really showing you. But let's get back to this.
We are like mannequins in the shopping mall of democracy. When you go to the shopping mall, you see the mannequin. The mannequin is dressed in what you would like to buy. The mannequin can't talk. The mannequin can't walk. We got black people in power, but they don't have power. We got black people with money.
The man said we got black people in power, but they don't have power. We are mannequins in the shopping mall of America. They can dress us how they want to dress us, make us how they want to make us. And discard us in the back with the trash, just like any other mannequin that gets old. Throw us away. Deposit us into the chapter 13, you know what I'm saying? We don't matter no more. Only thing that matters is that they rape us for our resources. And we line up for it. Jordans is 230, I got to get 3 pair of them. Lined up. I'm standing at the door before they open up. But then your partner down the street, he got his own clothing line and he got his own shoes. Nah. That ain't what the commercials and the corporate people telling me to buy. They're telling me to buy them Jordans. Raping us for our resources.
We have black people with money that we think are giants, but in the company of their white counterparts, they are midgets.
This is where Farrakhan gets brutally honest. We can't afford to keep following the same kind of leadership that has kept us trapped. Black people can't afford to keep supporting leaders who are more concerned with securing their place in the system than with freeing their people.
Few points that I want to make is based on what I heard. My sister with the union, she wants to be at the right table at the right time to talk about the right issues where workers are concerned. Everyone at this table, my dear sister, talked about policy and community. Reverend Lowry and Reverend Sharpton brilliantly defined for us really the crux of the matter. Here's what I see. Respectfully, Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. But power won't even concede to a demand if the demand is coming from a weak constituency that looks like they've lost their testicular fortitude.
But Farrakhan doesn't stop at just identifying the problem. he offers a solution. Imagine a generation of leaders who refuse to compromise with the system. Farrakhan's vision is clear. True leadership is about liberation, not adaptation. And so, the question becomes, how do we break those chains? What happens when we start to demand leadership that challenges, rather than conforms to, the system? This is the turning point. Farrakhan isn't asking for incremental changes or moderate reforms. He's calling for an uprising in leadership. The fight for black liberation won't come from leaders who are still trying to make peace with the system. It will come from leaders who are willing to risk everything to create.
Liberation will not come from leaders that are still in cahoots with the system. Bottom line is we have to create our own systems around here. We're supposed to be in the richest country in the world. So I know we could do it. I know we can do it. We just gotta have a mind state to do it. And later on, I'm gonna introduce you to another leader who has that mind state. But right now, let's get to this. This is a 23-minute video. I don't know if I'm gonna play the whole thing, but we just get the crust of it.
Create a new world. This isn't just a theoretical idea. It's a practical, urgent call to action. But do we still need to fight? Farrakhan doesn't just talk about modern-day oppression. He connects it directly to the past, to a history that many of us have been taught to ignore, sanitize, or forget. But he makes it clear that understanding this history isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's crucial for understanding why black people are still fighting for true freedom today. Now, many of us may think, wait, haven't we already gained independence? Wasn't colonialism the real problem? That's the myth Farrakhan aims to shatter. He brings up uncomfortable truths, ones that many would prefer to leave untouched.
They were the principal architects in distributing the slaves. They were the auctioneers that sold the slaves. They were the plantation owners that bought the slaves. They were the masters that worked the slaves. They were the ones that helped to rob us of our minds, of our names, our language, our culture, our religion, our God. So that today you know nothing of yourself because of your friends. It was Jews who fought against Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines, Christophe. It was Jews who worked against Frederick Douglass, Jews who worked against Marcus Garvey, Jews that worked against Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Jews in the government, in the Justice Department, Jews that worked against the prophets of God.
Now, this is a statement that raises eyebrows. He's using it as an example of how history has been rewritten, manipulated, and sanitized to protect the power structures that continue to benefit from black oppression. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Farrakhan's message here isn't just about challenging who played what role in slavery. It's about the bigger picture. What have we been told about our history? The version we've been taught has been deliberately incomplete, leaving out the parts that make those in power uncomfortable. By erasing these inconvenient truths, the oppressors maintain control, and those who benefit from this erasure continue to profit off black suffering. But why does this matter today?
Now, if we want to get where we want to go, we can't focus on the house that has rejected us and our fathers for 400 years. We have to now focus.
The struggle for black liberation isn't over, because we've never really been free. We've been handed the illusion of freedom, but the systems of control remain. Colonialism may have ended in the traditional sense, but the structures that supported it, racism, economic inequality, and political disenfranchisement, are alive and well. They've evolved, becoming even more insidious and difficult to recognize.
Your unemployment rate is now 26%. This is the male. Nearly 50% of our youth are unemployed. Is that right? Blacks are more than 3 times as likely to be poor as whites. And as of 1981, the median income of blacks was 56% of that of whites. Over 50% of all black children are growing up in poverty today, and according to the social scientists, they don't see any way out for our children in the future. Now, if they don't see any way out, do you see a way out?
They said in 81 that they don't see any way out of poverty for us black folks in America. They said that in 1981. It's 2025. Does that statement ring true? See what's going on around here. There's some people out here that got money. Some people out here that got power. That ain't got no power. We all out here chasing the bag. We chasing the bag. Imagine that. We chasing the bag. The reason why they ain't chasing the bag, because when we catch the bag, we gonna give it right to them. So they know we gonna bring them the bag after we catch it. It's crazy the way that we think as the people in the United States, especially, you know, from our culture, the hip hop culture, which was infiltrated. You know what I'm saying? Infiltrated and used against us. Like they do everything else that we create. Infiltrated and they use it against us. Then they become the face of it, then we don't even know what happened. We can't even speak for it no more. Because they got control of it.
How can our children remain in poverty if we say they will not? There is a way out if you and I take up the challenge, and that's what I'm in Los Angeles to do, not to teach you to hate white people or to hate Jews, but to pick up the challenge of your responsibility as a free man and woman and determine a future.
The end of colonialism didn't signify real independence for black people. Instead, it was just a shifting of the same oppressive forces into new forms. Black people were allowed a seat at the table, but the table was still designed by the same hands that enslaved them. Farrakhan doesn't mince words. Black people haven't gained true independence.
Brothers and sisters, though Mr. Garvey and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad preached separation, you know that white people do not want to let us go, and most of us don't want to go. Come on, let's deal with the truth now. Shall I say that again? White folks are afraid to let you go, because if they let you go, they feel, according to Scripture, you may join on to a powerful enemy and remember the evil that they poured on you and come back against them. So they really don't want to let you go. However, at the same time that they don't want to let you go, they have nothing here for you to do.
Sure, we gained political independence. Countries in Africa and the Caribbean fought for and won their independence from colonial powers. The civil rights movement gave black Americans legal rights and protections. But what about deeper independence? The kind that allows black people to control their resources, to own businesses without being stifled by systemic discrimination.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is the independence that I'm talking about right here. Of course, we are already within this capitalist system, but where's our independence within this capitalist system? Why is everything that we do regulated by them? Especially the stuff that we create. Why is it always regulated by them? It's like you create something and I take a liking to it, and then I just take it out your hand and I tell you what we're going to do with what you created. And if you have a problem with that, I'm going to just take you up out your seat and say, hey, I created this. We gotta get out of their hand. We gotta get out the palm of their hand. We have to stop eating out the palm of their hand. We have to stop chasing the bag so much that we just willing to take any bag that's put in our front of our face. And then when we do get the bag, we have to start circulating that bag within our community. That's the only way we're going to empower ourselves. That's the only way we're going to get some kind of common unity around here is if we start communicating in unity and commercing in unity. I mean, we are definitely in a place where most of us are entrepreneuring and understand the system that we was raised in. You know what I'm saying? Being in the capitalist society, but now let's take advantage of that and really create our industry within this industry. Because all it is an industry. We have to create our industry within this industry where we regulate what we're doing over here. And with that being said, if you are on here watching now, if you watch this later, if you have an opportunity to, please sign up for the website, theraphustle.com. If you're an independent artist, model, entrepreneur, or just an avid fan of hip-hop and you want to stay in tune with what we got going on, sign up for the raphustle.com, create your hustler's profile page, and let's hustle together. Because what we're doing over here is creating a new system when it comes to independent entertainment from our community and our culture. We got all this streaming and stuff going on, and we see what's happening with that. We need it, but we need to be able to regulate it on our behalf. We need to create a system where if an artist get 1 million views, he at least get $500,000. I mean, let's think about it. Them views bring advertisement dollars. We have to be the ones that's regulating what we got going on.
To educate their children without interference, and to have true autonomy over their communities. The truth is that even though slavery ended and colonialism formally ceased, black people were never fully liberated. The systems that kept black people subjugated simply adapted and found new ways to control black lives. Farrakhan's argument is clear. The myth of black independence is just that, a myth. And until we confront the truth about our history, we'll continue to be trapped in this cycle of false liberation, where we're told we're free but still suffer the consequences of systemic oppression. Understanding this truth is essential because it shows us that the work is far from over. As Farrakhan points out, it's not just about learning the history of slavery and colonialism, but about understanding how those systems evolved into what we face today. The prison industrial complex, the wealth gap, and voter disenfranchisement aren't accidents. These are the modern manifestations of a system built to keep black people in a state of economic and political subjugation.
Why should our people have to subsist on charity or live in poor houses when we built the country for you, fought, bled, and died to maintain the country for you? You ask us to pay taxes like everybody else. Wait a minute, we don't get justice. We give you our tax dollar to support a police department that doesn't respect us. We give you our tax dollar to support education that does not educate us properly. We give you our tax dollars. You spend $4 billion each year on Israel to maintain Israel in a welfare position. You send billions of dollars. You rebuilt Germany. You rebuilt Japan. Here we are, fought, bled, and died, made you what you are. What are you willing to come on down with to help the black man rebuild himself?
And so, the question we must ask ourselves today is, what does it look like for black people to heal and break free from the system that has controlled us for centuries? How do we confront these truths and use them to fuel our fight for true freedom?
I recognize that the thing that is missing is not the genius that is present or the genius that is absent, but the thing that is missing is the unity of us as a people. My beloved brother, Mr. Frazier, articulated some magnificent economic truths that can be realized fully by the unity of us as a people.
Farrakhan speaks of unity, but not the kind of unity that's often preached in mainstream circles. He's not talking about surface-level unity, the kind where people gather around a shared cause, fight a common enemy for a brief moment, and then go their separate ways. No, Farrakhan's vision of unity is far deeper. It's about true solidarity, where black people come together not just to protest against injustice, but to rebuild the very foundation of their society. Farrakhan argues that healing for black people can only begin when we stop asking for permission from institutions that have kept us in a perpetual state of inequality. For too long, black people have been forced to seek validation from the same structures that have oppressed them. We've been waiting for the white establishment to grant us rights, equality, and opportunities. But this approach is inherently flawed. This is the cycle that has kept us trapped for so long, a cycle of dependence, waiting for those in power to lift us. Farrakhan's message is clear. Stop asking for permission. Instead, we need to create our path. Farrakhan envisions a future where black...
Stop asking for permission and create our path. It start with us building our path. Building blocks. We got to pave that road. What is our independence? What does our true independence look like? We celebrate the 4th of July every year. For what? Go eat some barbecue, pop some fireworks, maybe even bust your gun. We're not free until we free the shackles that's on our mind. The shackles that say we're dependent in a system that doesn't even care about us. Every time something happens to one of us, we want to go march about it. Like, we're begging the oppressor to not oppress us. And it just doesn't make sense to me. It never has made sense, and it never will make sense to me. Why are we begging the people who's beating us upside our head to stop beating us upside our head? If they was going to stop, they would have never started. Doesn't make sense. But every time something happens to us, we want to march about it. That's not going to get us nowhere. Marching and asking them to please give us something. Please just share a little bit, something. Can I please get something to eat? I'll take the scraps. Since they've been giving the slaves the scraps in the backyard, man, we've been so used to the scraps. And like he said, even though we got some people that became millionaires amongst us, they still don't have any power, which is the reason why you see them being locked up right now, being sued right now. We gave you money, we gave you that look, we'll take it all back from you. Why? Because you're under our system. And now, with the power of the internet and what's going on in the financial world with the digital currency, we have a new president that is pandering to us in a new way, because they also know and understand that if we start creating our own coins and start spending that coin amongst each other, that we could take our power away from them, especially our spending power, because the United States dollar doesn't mean anything no more. Now they make it make believe currency. First of all, currency was make believe off the top. If you don't believe me, then ask yourself, why do you think they used to take the bills after so long in circulation and burn them up? That was a tangible currency. But real currency is the current which causes a whirlwind. That's real currency. See, our currency, and when I say currency, I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about our energy towards each other. Our energy towards each other is not a positive, reciprocated energy that keeps spinning to the point where it can create a tornado or a hurricane effect. And that's what they want to stop us from having, that whirlwind effect that creates an energy that gathers us all up in together and makes us a powerful force to be reckoned with. But I'm here to tell y'all in 2025, with everything that's going on, if y'all don't look past what they showing you and really see what it is, you will not understand this. We are in a time where we have the power to control our existence within this ecosystem. And pretty much you got to fend for yourself right now. But because of the culture that we have picked up being amongst the colonialism, we are separative in our thinking. We don't think about unifying. We don't think about helping each other. We, we, we here to hurt each other, or we're here to hinder each other. You know what I'm saying? We're here to hate on each other. We ain't never here to help each other. And in 2025 and beyond, if we ain't helping each other, bro, it's over with for us, man. They've been telling us for years that we extinct, especially the young black men. And now we have a system where we got young kids just killing each other. Like, I came across the saddest story, and I don't really like doing blogs on people dying and things, like all the negative stuff that goes on in hip hop, because that ain't what real rap is about. Real rap is really about just speaking the truth about the things that I see and the things that need to happen in order for us to move forward. And but I'm gonna speak on this. I seen a situation where a young 17-year-old basketball star for Philadelphia was gunned down 24 hours after releasing a video with a diss track. That headline alone is just horrifying to hear. A 17-year-old high school basketball star gunned down 24 hours after releasing a drill video dissing his ops. But here's even more where it gets more scarier at. They dig into why this guy was gunned down. Come to find out, this guy allegedly had 5, 6 bodies himself. And not only was this guy a bad high school basketball star, but he also scored the highest on the SAT test in the whole school. So during the daytime, he is a honor roll student, a basketball athlete star in this high school setting. But when he leaves the high school, he is a drill rapper by the name of Joker OTV, who allegedly has 5 to 6 bodies, and one of those bodies being the child of Gilly the Kid, rest in peace, the Cheese, who is also a figure in the hip hop culture. And when I check this situation out and I think about how did we get here? We've been led down this path because the last thing they want us to do is to unify and communicate in unity amongst each other to where we can create that currency of trust, loyalty, and, just unity amongst each other that generates enough whirlwind to create a hurricane effect in this world. They have taught us to chase the bag and bring it to them. So, as a demonstration, you get the bag, you bring the bag in, you spin it with them, you send the bag out. So our current is like this. But if we were to put that current in a different motion to where I bring it in and I share with you, and you share with her, and she shares it with him, and then he in return brings it back to me, then it comes back around like that, which now creates this synergy of energy and trust amongst each other that goes out and gets bigger, because the more people doing it, the more bigger this current gets. And then it becomes a circle that's non-stoppable, because the law of this reciprocation makes a movement that could destroy anything in its way once it becomes a hurricane effect. This is the effect that we need within our community in order for us to move forward. If we're not willing to do that, you can guarantee, I can guarantee you that everything that you dreamed about doing, everything that you wanted to do, everything that you wanted to have, everything that you thought you stood for will crumble up under you right now, today. And I'm not saying that in a position of wishing it, but just if you pay attention to what's going on in the world, you can see it for yourself. Don't say I'm speaking it into existence when it's already existing. We are living in a time where families are messed up. And in order for anybody to get right, we all got to help each other. That help yourself mentality, that shit out the window now. See, what's going to happen is you either going to plug in or you going to plug out. You either going to roll or you get ran over. And we on a mission to be independent. We in a mission to move when we want to move. Do what we want to do. Provide for our families the way that we see fit to provide for them. once we become independent and stop depending on a system, a government system that doesn't care about us anyway, that used us, wiped us of all of our resources, took all our energy from our ancestors to create this place called the United States, and won't give us anything in return. Like my man said, they spend billions across seas helping all these other countries, but they won't give us nothing. Section 8, welfare, food stamps, stats, nothing compared to the blood, sweat, and tears and the energy that we put into creating this place called the United States. And we gotta quit looking up to these puppets that get paid to be what you consider leaders, because now our leaders are the people who's popping on TikTok. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a sad reality, but the leaders of today are the people that's popping on TikTok. Donald Trump took TikTok away, and everybody was in a panic. I mean, I can't speak for myself because I wasn't in a panic. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have TikTok. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, over 100 million United States citizens who do use TikTok, and, you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure about 80% of those people are relying on TikTok to pay some bills and make a living off of it because of what it had to offer. But the incoming president takes it away, rallies everybody up, riles everybody up, and then gives it back to them in an act to make you think that he cares about you. He gave you TikTok. But my only question for y'all is, you want TikTok or do you want true independence? That's, you know, hey, according to the 5% rule, 95% of y'all gonna want that TikTok. But the 5% out there, all it takes is a small amount, man. A small amount of force is what picks up and becomes a whirlwind that creates a hurricane. So we're looking for that 5% to come join us at the raphustle.com. Let's create our own system and let's hustle together, man. Let me finish this video out.
Black people build their schools, their businesses, and their communities free from the influence of systems that continue to keep them marginalized. This vision goes beyond just equality or integration into the system. It's about self-sufficiency, about not needing permission or validation from anyone. Farrakhan argues that Black people must stop depending on the very institutions that have historically perpetuated inequality, whether it's the education system, the economic system, or the political system, and start building the independent infrastructure needed to support and uplift the community.
System talked about education and health issues. We cannot any longer depend on a benevolent white person in office to look out for our needs. That responsibility is ours.
Building independent institutions isn't just about creating physical structures. It's about fostering a mindset of self-reliance and autonomy. Farrakhan challenges us to think about what true power looks like. It's not about hoping that society will change for the better or that someone else will provide the tools needed for Black success. It's about taking control. Black communities need to start looking inward, focusing on their strengths, resources, and potential, and building their futures from there. But here's the question. Can this vision truly become a reality? Can we achieve this kind of unity and independence while rejecting the system that has been holding us down for so long? Is it even possible to rise above the grip of a system that has been designed to trap us? Farrakhan believes the answer is yes, but it requires bold, uncompromising action.
the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. That's who you are, and that's who you were.
It's no longer about waiting for the system to validate us or give us a space. It's about taking that space for ourselves. It's about reclaiming the power that has been denied to us for generations. And in doing,
I think you've given up.
Given up on what?
On the ideal of an integrated America, the dream of Martin Luther King. I think you've given up. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck now. I'm telling you honestly that I think you've given up.
If I may respond, the Kerner Commission, established by President Johnson in 1967, said that there were two societies, one black, one white, one rich, one poor. And the Kerner Commission gave specific recommendations that had to be followed if America believed in integration. 20 years after that, a group of scientists got together to see what the progress was. And the progress is
backward.
That we have a larger middle class, but the masses of black people have gone backward. And the country is not only separate and unequal, but in worse condition today than it was then. So I don't think, Mr.
You make my point.
Donahue, you should put it on me that I've given up. America has never believed in integration. Never.
Black people must create their system, one that doesn't rely on the economic and political structures that were designed to keep us down. Would you like to follow the path given by Farrakhan? Will black people unite for the sake of true independence? Let us know in the comment section. Do you see black people all around the world finally winning independence as a race? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on
Yeah, man. Y'all go subscribe to the Black Culture Diary channel on YouTube, man. I just got familiar with it, man, and I kind of like the content that's over there because it's something that's necessary, especially for us in our community who are interested, not everybody, those that are interested in a better way for all of us to really, you know what I'm saying, live together. I think part of the reason why we are not in a position of power in the United States, even after 400 years of slavery and all this, is the fact that we have been mentally, I don't want to curse, so I'm trying to find a word. We have been mentally raped of our identity and our trust and our want to be a community. You know, through all the separation, and not just from, you know what I'm saying, the other cultures, but the separation from each other, you know what I'm saying, through the gang violence, the way our neighborhoods are set up. We gotta really get over that, and I don't have the answers. I don't know what's needed for us to get out of that mindset. I can only speak for myself. And so speaking for myself, I know that I had to get out of the mindset of thinking that everybody's out to get me first and foremost. Then I had to understand that everybody doesn't have the best interests, my best interests in mind. But I also understand that there is a million people just think just like me. And if I could just communicate in unison with those people, then maybe those people, along with myself, can create a synergy and an energy that creates that whirlwind, that creates that hurricane, that destroys everything in its path. As a hip hop figure, you know, I come from being a rap artist, and as a rap artist, I've never wanted to be a part of the bigger system once I learned about the big system. After seeing so many stories of the people that I loved growing up listening to and watching on TV tell their story of not having anything after long runs of TV shows and, you know what I'm saying, just being, it's like it never really happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like they lived a dream and realizing that the only reason why they feel like that is because that system that they were in gave them the illusion, the perception of being that. As long as you're here with us, we will put you in these positions so that you can influence the other people that this is the right place to be, when in all actuality, this is not a good position to be in. A position of somebody telling you what you can do with your art, how you can do your art, and if you disagree with them, then they can shelf you. And not only can they shelf you, they can destroy your image publicly and your life privately because they have all access to your life. Most of you artists need to understand that when you sign to these corporations, you pretty much sign a conservatorship that states that they own your likeness. They own your art. They have the right to put out what they like and to not put out what they don't like, but they do own everything that you put out, depending on what your contract looks like. But now that we're in a position, in a place where they don't even really care about hip hop per se, they really don't have no respect for the people who created hip hop from the communities that we come from. Um, we know that they were setting Drake up to be like the Jesus Christ of hip hop for some reason, and now that that has went spiraling out of control, literally, we see them usher in Leangelo Ball, one of the Ball brothers. If you don't know who the Ball brothers is, they, you know, all had a stint in the NBA. Leangelo Ball, being the middle child, is a rapper. He created a song that went viral, and all of a sudden, he has a $13 million record deal. Nobody has been signed to a record deal in years, but all of a sudden, he has a $13 million record deal. He gets the rights to all his music, a deal that we've never seen before. And you have to ask yourself, why? For the artists who want to be signed, they're looking at it as a good thing. It's a good sign. Maybe I could be next. But for the people who have an understanding of what's going on behind the scenes, this is just showing you that in order for you to get any money from the industry at this point, you already have to be in the system of getting money. What I mean by that, Leandro Ball, like I said, him and his brothers have already been in the NBA. They're already a part of the system. So it incentivizes them to make Leangelo Ball now the face of rap, and to get, the TikTokers and everybody behind that, and to never ever let rap be back in the hands of the people who created it in the streets of the Bronx and New York. Think about it. When was the last time an artist from New York even got on? I'm not talking about Ice Spice, that don't count. I'm not talking about 6ix9ine, that don't count. Those were all plants, just like Leangelo is a plant. I'm talking about real artists from the culture that came up amongst the ranks of being in the streets doing battle raps and, putting out good music that moved the culture. People want to say that UMG got behind Kendrick to push that, but Kendrick was the last thing UMG ever wanted. Why? Kendrick is a dark-skinned black man from the hood of the Compton, California. Do you think they want his image to be over Drake's image? No. Drake is a half Jewish, half black guy from Toronto, Canada. Fits perfectly within the compound. We're comfortable with giving him a $400 million deal nobody else has ever got in the history of the music industry. This man got a quarterback deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, since when they start giving out NFL checks in the rap game. But if you pay attention to these type of things, you will understand that. But because we are brainwashed into looking at the bag, we just look at the bag. We don't really see what's going on. Well, it's time for us to open our eyes and see what's going on. And unfortunately, everybody's not going to be able to go. But for those that do see and that do want to go, make sure that you sign up for the raphustle.com, create your hustler's profile page, and let's hustle together. We have to hustle together to create our own systems. That's what we're here for. And it's not going to be easy, but it's damn sure going to be worth it. With that being said, it's your boy Rico the Plug, the Rap Hustle, not the Cap Hustle. Sign up for the raphustle.com, create your hustler's profile page, and let's hustle together. Question: TikTok or true independence? Leave a comment and get back at me. Subscribe. Stay tuned.